If you're in a CPA firm, you're facing the same huge challenge as everyone else, the nonstop pace of tax reform. But what if I told you the answer isn't just about surviving this chaos, but actually using it to get way ahead of the competition? Today, we're going to dig into a strategic shift in operations that can do exactly that.
So, let's just get right to it. Does it feel like the tax reforms just never stop? Like you're constantly playing catch-up, trying to figure out the new rules, the new forms, and calming down clients who are, frankly, freaking out.
Okay, so let's dive into our first section, the relentless reform cycle. We really need to unpack what this actually means for your firm day in and day out.
First things first, I'm here to tell you it is not your imagination. The data is clear. Tax laws are changing way faster than most firms can possibly adapt their internal processes. So you're not falling behind. The ground is literally shifting under your feet.
And look, this pressure, it's not just about sitting down to read some new regulations, right? It's this whole cascade of new demands hitting you all at once. Your team has to somehow interpret all these complex new rules, then turn around and educate your clients on them. Oh, and you've got more documentation and disclosures than ever. Plus, clients don't just want filings anymore, they want real strategic guidance. And you have to do all of this faster and with zero errors. I mean, come on, that's a massive ask. So all of this, it leads us straight to the real heart of the problem. We're going to call it the capacity bottleneck. And as you're about to see, the root cause is probably not what you think it is.
All right, this is the key, the aha moment, right here. The struggle isn't a lack of knowledge. Come on, your teams are brilliant, you know your stuff. The real problem, the thing that's holding you back, is a lack of capacity. Pure and simple. There just aren't enough hours in the day.
And you see the symptoms of this capacity crunch everywhere, don't you? It's the fact that there just aren't enough skilled tax pros out there. The cost of hiring and keeping them is through the roof. You've got those insane seasonal spikes, and your senior staff, they're completely overworked, buried in compliance work, with absolutely no time left for the high-value advisory stuff. Every single one of these is a capacity problem at its core.
Okay, so if we agree the problem is capacity, then what's the solution? Well, that brings us to Section 3, the strategic outsourcing shift. And I want to be clear, we're not talking about a quick Band-Aid here. This is a fundamental change in how your firm can and should operate.
Now, this solution really comes in two flavors, or tiers. On one hand, you've got tax form outsourcing. This gives you some quick, immediate relief by taking on that repetitive work. But then there's tax function outsourcing. This is where you build for the long term. You're handing off entire processes, which gives you true honest-to-goodness scalability. It's a clear path from getting help right now to building a firm that can grow sustainably.
So let's look at that first step, tax form outsourcing. Think of this as getting all the tedious, repetitive stuff off your team's plate. You know, the data entry, the formatting, all that grunt work. The second you do that, you free up your amazing in-house team to focus on what really matters: high-value review, talking to clients, and doing complex tax planning. It's an instant win for efficiency.
But then you've got the next level up, tax function outsourcing. This is the real game changer. We're talking about outsourcing entire workflows, from prep all the way to creating the work papers. What's the result? Well, you're no longer capped by how many people you can hire in your city. Your firm suddenly has the power to scale up whenever you need to. So you might be asking, who's actually doing all this work? And that brings us to the secret ingredient that makes this whole strategy work. Let's call them your invisible tax team. What we're talking about here are offshore tax consultants. And let me be really clear, these are not generic virtual assistants. These are highly trained professionals who specialize in U.S. taxation. They know IRS rules, they know industry workflows, they really do function as a seamless extension of your firm.
So why are so many firms doing this? Well, the advantages are huge. We're talking access to a global pool of skilled tax talent, often at a much lower cost. You get this incredible time zone advantage, work gets done while you sleep, creating 24/7 productivity, and maybe best of all, you can scale your team up or down instantly for tax season without all the hiring headaches. It's a total win.
Okay, so let's connect this back to the big problem, keeping up with tax reform. How does outsourcing actually make you more agile? Well, for starters, you can adapt to new regulations way faster because your workforce is so flexible. You actually reduce your compliance risk because you have more layers of review. That leads to a better client experience with faster delivery. And of course, with lower costs, your profit margins go up. It's a complete upgrade to your entire operation.
And all of this leads to a really powerful transformation. We're talking about going from being totally exhausted to incredibly efficient. So let's take a look at what that shift actually looks like in the real world.
First, there's the operational shift. It's so clear. You go from having teams that are completely overworked and burnt out to having balanced workloads. You go from clunky, manual processes to smooth, optimized systems. This is all about creating a sense of calm and control inside your firm.
But this is the real prize, the strategic shift. That constant, nagging pressure to hire just disappears and gets replaced by scalable support. And this is the most important part. Your firm finally gets to shift from being reactive, just a compliance machine, to becoming a proactive advisory leader for your clients. That's where the real value is.
Now, this is so important to understand. Outsourcing isn't about replacing your best people. It's about protecting them. It's about giving your most valuable experts the breathing room to actually think, to strategize, and to lead, instead of just putting out fires and chasing deadlines all day.
Look, let's be honest. These tax reforms aren't going to slow down. So the smartest firms out there, they're not the ones working harder and burning the midnight oil. They're the ones working smarter, because they've completely redesigned how they operate.
So I'll leave you with this one final thought to chew on. Take a hard look at your firm right now, your operations, your team's workload, your big picture goals, and ask yourself, is your firm just built to survive the next tax season, or is it actually designed to scale?